September in the UK.
Oh, okay. Right. Okay. Well, I'll do that. I'll do that at the top.
Okay.
But which is already out in the US, and published in the UK in September. Yes. Great. Look at that. All the words make sense. Yeah. Hello. Do the hair. Do the hair. I know.
Oh, you have that too. I have that too. It goes in my face all the time.
Yeah. Well, yeah. That's right. I used to be a bit more. I prefer unruly, but yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Pat it down.
Where am I looking?
Just at me, yeah, don't worry, ignore those. Yeah,
ignore
yeah,
the cameras.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Hey, I might go glasses off for the last one of the day, yeah? Whoa.
There's a lot of wilting going on the sofa tonight, isn't there?
And,
sorry.
oh, yeah, yeah.
Like that. Is that nice?
Yeah. Human contact, it's
amazing.
That's also in there.
Is it?
Yeah.
All right. My mother-in-law tried to do Reiki. Do you know Reiki? Are you familiar with
Reiki?
Does she really?
She tried to heal my arm with it, and nothing was going on, apart from the fact that I felt very uncomfortable for 15 minutes.
Just sort of like hands over, sort of.
Yeah, well, she was touching.
Oh, she was touching?
Yeah. I've got 3 mothers-in-law. That's another story, but anyway.
Okay.
Is that good? Oh, fuck. See, it's the end of the day. Yeah. You've probably got places to go. Right, okay.
That's okay.
Hello. In on camera. I can't see it. I took my glasses off. Okay. It's the one that Jackie stood next to. Yeah, thanks. Gives me Adam Alter. Here we go. Right. Stop having fun. I really want a Heineken. I really want a cold Heineken. Where are you from? You're not from America. Am I detecting a non-American accent?
You are. You're detecting born in South Africa, most of my life in Australia, US for 10 years.
Right,
So
okay.
it's a mess.
Wow, so
It's a mess of an accent.
Behind the flowers, okay.
Behind the flowers.
Branding.
Brandon Flowers? Oh, right, hell, that's a hell of a... Wow, see the world, though. You must have no need to travel anymore. You've done it all.
It's been fun, and now I'm getting married to an American girl, so I think I'm going to be
congratulations.
staying in the US. Yeah, thank you.
When's that?
September.
Right.
Coincides with the book release.
Right, okay.
Busy time.
You'll be choosing the colours and all that stuff very carefully, yeah.
Except I'm colourblind. Anyway.
Yeah, so am I. I'm massively colourblind.
Oh, good. Yeah.
So I did those spot tests as a kid, and I was like A, 4, 6, 23,
You
E,
feel
B.
great about it because you're getting them all right, and they're all wrong.
Yeah, they were all wrong. He went, yep, 0%. I was like, oh, whatever. So I couldn't be a pilot. But I'm scared of flying, so the joke's on them. Right, okay. And if we're getting this, it's gold.
Outtakes.
Yeah, right. Concentrate. Yeah. Great, okay, fantastic. I'm joined on the sofa by Adam Alter, who is, I should say Alter or Alter, sorry.
Alter.
Alter, right. Good
Alter.
start. I'm joined on the Guardian sofa here in Cannes by Adam Alter, who is Assistant Professor of Marketing at New York University, and his new book is Drunk Tank Pink, which is out in the US but comes out in the UK in September. Adam, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me, John.
First up, Drunk Tank Pink.
Yes.
I like it, but what does it mean?
Drunk tank pink is a colour that psychologists used to use to paint the inside of drunk tanks or jail cells. And they found that this very bright bubblegum pink colour calmed down the prisoners. So it got the name Drunk Tank Pink, and it's now been used in classrooms to pacify students, in visiting locker rooms to pacify opponents that teams are playing when they're playing sports. So it's got quite a lot of use now, but it started out being this colour that was used in drunk tanks, and that's where it got the name.
And this is the idea that the environment around us affects the way we behave, and you've taken that idea from one colour and one jail cell, probably quite a few jail cells, and you've taken it all over the place. So you've looked at names. Give us an idea of the different kind of environments and how they affect us.
Yeah, sure. So I break the book down into 3 different worlds, starting with the world within us. These are the sorts of small cues that reside in our heads, things like names, the labels that we give things, the words that we use to describe them, the images that we associate with them, symbols, things like that. All of that stuff resides in our heads, and it's the small, narrow cues, and they all influence us in certain ways.
Well, let's start there. So names.
Yeah.
How do you name? Give us an example of how a name affects how you behave and maybe how you grow up and what job you do.
Well, your name, John, is a common name. It's pretty. Many people share it. It's a frequently occurring name in a lot of English-speaking countries, and it turns out that that's a very good thing, and that we've shown that when people have names that are fluent or easy to pronounce, they're more likely to rise up various hierarchies at work more quickly. So lawyers in the middle part of their careers are more likely to be partners in firms if they have simple names rather than complex names. So that's just one example. The same is true. You can use names, the fact that people are attracted to their names, to encourage them to donate more to hurricane charities. So if you name a hurricane with a name that matches their first initial, so for you, Hurricane James, for example, you would be more likely to donate to the Hurricane Relief Aid for that charity.
And so I make this kind of subliminal link between, the fact I just like the sound of a J.
You just like the sound of a J because you've associated with your name, and therefore it's easy to pronounce and it's appealing, and that changes how you behave. So that's the first world, the narrow world, the world within us. Then a little bit more broadly, there's the world between us, the social world. And I talk there about the presence of other people. If you're in competition, should you imagine one competitor or 10 if you want to do better? And it turns out that imagining a smaller set of competitors or actually competing against a smaller set leads you to do better. We're just slightly more engaged and we do much better in competition.
Why is that? Just because of the fit? You can't imagine beating 10 or 100 people, but if you focus on one opponent.
Yeah, it's a very general principle. It's true also if you're trying to extract money for charitable aid, that if you use one polar bear and say the polar bears are dying or the panda bears are dying, and you have one image that's very concrete and people can latch onto it, and so it's emotionally resonant. But if you say thousands of polar bears or thousands of panda bears are dying, can you give aid? It just doesn't have the same immediacy. That's also true in competition. So if you imagine one person very concretely, you imagine them running beside you or in whatever competition it may be, that engages you a little more than it would if you imagined, say, 10 or 100 or 1,000 competitors, because it's just too abstract.
Okay, so we're an advertising festival, and I'm slightly worried that you're giving advertisers even more power to influence their behaviour than they already have. But how do you relate these kind of findings to the ad industry?
Yeah, well, I've mentioned twice the pro-social side. So I've mentioned the fact that you can extract more in charitable aid campaigns using these techniques. So that's one of the very big ethical hurdles that we face is you can use this stuff for the good or for the bad, and the trick is to always, I think, or as much as possible, use it for the good. You don't want to encourage people to buy things that they absolutely don't need, and you want to ultimately you'd hope that what they're buying makes them feel better, makes them happier. They'll ultimately continue to buy, and so I think that works to everyone's benefit.
So let's take a look around us now. I know it's not the most colourful studio, but as it turns out, we're both colourblind. That's not such a bad thing.
That's true.
But what vibes are we getting off this grey sofa and the multicoloured cushions?
Well, both of us can't see the colours on these pillows, but I imagine that they're very pretty. But anyway, that aside, there's a very sort of modern, plain, spare vibe here, which I think is generally quite good. It's associated with fluency and ease, and I think that's probably a good thing. What else are we getting? There isn't a whole lot to work on, but I do see something that approximates drunk tank pink, so perhaps we've been pacified.
Yeah. Well, and there's the red there as well. Red seems to me like a winning colour.
Red's a winning colour. Olympic competitors, when they're randomly drawn, when they are in combat sports, they're randomly drawn to wear either red or blue. And when they get red, they do better. They win about 65% of bouts when they're evenly matched. So red is a winning colour. It's also a winning colour in dating. So if you go on an online dating site and you put up a profile of yourself with a red shirt, you're much more likely to attract hits than you are if you wear any of these other colours here.
Well, now the dating thing's already caught my imagination here, but in my former single life. But how can we adopt some of these lessons in our day-to-day lives? Because I mean, I remember I've got a daughter, and there were various bits of advice we had about what colour pram you should get, because they're going to sleep in one, but they're not going to sleep in another.
Yeah.
And I think red came up as oddly as a colour in which they would find comforting and.
Yeah, that's certainly possible. Red makes people hungrier, as does yellow and orange. So that's used by a lot of fast food companies. So if you want to encourage your child to eat more, red and orange and yellow are good. As far as sleepiness goes, I think the calming colours usually are blue and green, those sorts of colours. I haven't heard of red being used much to calm people because it's associated with alertness and vibrancy.
That might be where we went wrong. Yeah.
Perhaps, yeah, if she didn't sleep in the pram, yeah.
And what kind of response did you get from the advertisers? I mean, I guess you've spoken to them before coming to Cannes today, but did they see potential in it? You know.
Yeah, I think so. I think that a lot of the ideas can be applied sometimes very directly, so that the message is right there, it's very concrete and direct. Sometimes it takes a bit of doing, and you take the message, you realise that the main message is that people are driven by a lot of these unconscious forces beyond the level of conscious awareness, and so they take that to heart. And then we obviously have at our fingertips as researchers a lot of the answers to a lot of these questions, how one particular cue might shape them. And I think a lot of them are very engaged and interested in what some of those cues might be.
And where do you go next? Are you looking at different environmental factors that affect our behaviour, or what part of the kind of the human psyche are you turning your attention to next?
Yeah, I'm constantly researching lots of different things that fall into all three of the different worlds. The third world was the physical world, so colour falls in there, the very broadest world. I'm still doing some research looking at the power of names to influence various outcomes. So I'm constantly researching a whole lot of different issues all at once.
And Lance Armstrong, good example of a man who sort of, you know, till more recent difficulties, you know, pursued the life sort of forecast by his surname. And you're Adam Alter.
Yes.
And you're trying to change people's behaviour. So you know that was written in the stars.
That's right, absolutely. And Usain Bolt is not a slow man. Same thing. Yeah, it's surprisingly common. These things called aptronyms, when names seem to be associated with the life outcomes.
Okay, Adam Alter, thank you very much.
Thanks, John.
That was great. Fantastic. Thanks a lot.
All right, thanks.
Might lose